Hi, Brit Lit students. Welcome to what is now the fifth week of the spring 2018 semester. And this is going to be a bit of a busy week. We've only got one posting, but you also have the first of the three major exams, which is the Romanticism exam. So this week we're going to test you on everything you've done from weeks 2 through 5. Now, let me talk about the exam first, and then let me go back. Let me talk about this week's posting first, then I'll talk about the exam. Because I would recommend that you do the posting first, because Byron and Shelley, who you're going to be reading this week, are on the exam. So you need to make sure that you understand that. So let's go ahead and start with the posting. Even though we classify Shelley and Byron as romantic poets, they were the late romantic poets. They were not a part of the same school, which was the Lake School, that's Wordsworth and Coleridge came from. So they had some differences with Wordsworth and Coleridge. In fact, for this week's posting, what I'm asking you to do is compare and contrast the early romantics, particularly Wordsworth and Coleridge, to the late romantics, particularly Byron and Shelley, although you could theoretically include John Keats in there. But really, Shelley and Byron are the two that you want to focus on for this posting, because they're the ones we're reading this week. And I've given you hints, so if you look at the instructions, you'll see that there's a hint. The best way to approach this is to remember the differences that Wordsworth and Shelley approached nature with. And you're going to see that when you read Shelley's Mont Blanc, it is a lot different from I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud that Wordsworth wrote. You know, Wordsworth has nature as a happy place, a feel-good place, a place that takes care of all our needs. Shelley found beauty in nature, but it was more of a rugged beauty. It was more of he was a part of the school of people that thinks that nature is indifferent to human existence. If all humans were to die out right now, according to that line of thinking, then nature would still go on. You know, life would still go on. The earth would still continue to circle the sun, and everything would be the same as before, except there just wouldn't be humans around. So when he looks at Mont Blanc, he has some imagery of like earthquake, a mother teaching her children earthquakes how to be destructive, and the rocks and boulders and stuff around Mont Blanc, which is a snow-covered mountain in France, are like the earthquake's toys. So you can look at that, and then I think the best way to approach the Coleridge Byron differences is to look at maybe you go back and reread Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and then look at the Canto 2 from Don Juan. We all want to pronounce it as Don Juan, but he pronounced it Don Juan. Don Juan is also about a boat journey. Now, you're only reading the second canto of a poem that was like 10 or 12 cantos. It was a book-length poem. You're just reading the second canto. And you're going to see that there's a romance story involved with Byron's version. And there is cannibalism involved. And there are all kinds of other things that Coleridge would not have dreamed to put into his story. And there's not as much magic in there, not like albatrosses that bring good luck, or spirits that reanimate dead sailors and pilot the ship. Nothing like that's going on in Don Juan. But there'll be plenty of differences, and I think you're going to enjoy those, but you're also going to need to look at those in the posting. So really, it's comparing and contrasting Wordsworth and Shelley, and then comparing and contrasting Coleridge and Byron. Then once you've done all that, then we've got the exam. That exam is due on the same Sunday night that the postings are. And there's a study guide. That study guide is going to help you because it will remind you of what you need to familiarize yourself with. How should you study? It's spelled out in the study guide, but you should go back through the slideshows. You should go back and look at your postings. You should go back and perhaps maybe look at some of the other passages again. There'll be two sections. One's general knowledge, and it includes everything from what is Romanticism down to the individual authors. And then there'll be some quotes that come from the authors. These quotes, they're a lot of times famous quotes. They're quotes that you've heard of. Like, for example, when you get to the Keats quote about beauty is truth, truth is beauty, you'll know that's John Keats' Ode on a Grecian Urn. and there will be other quotes similar to that that will be very similar. Like I think the Rime of the Ancient Mariner one's going to be clear that it's Rime of Ancient Mariner, and I could keep going on and on. So yes, she look at that and take the test. It's not that hard. There aren't that many questions on it. I think there's like 30, 35 questions, but it's something that's doable. And most students in the past have done very well on that exam. In fact, they do well in all 3 exams, and I have no reason to believe, based on what I've seen in the posting so far, that this class will be any different. I think you guys will do well. So anyway, don't forget to do the posting. There's only one, but make sure you read Shelley and Byron. Do the posting. Maybe review the other authors we've done and review what Romanticism is, on and on. And then don't forget to take the exam, because that exam is a significant portion of your grade, so you want to do well on it. Okay, so any questions, email me, and have a great week.